If John doesn't subscribe...
Alright, hello everyone to a surprise random extra video, because I said I was just making the one more video, but now I'm making two more videos because the Rebirth trailer released a little bit early, and it would have been better to record this on YouTube on Wednesday, when I had a lot more to say about this, and I could have definitely talked about this for like an hour or two nonstop, but in short, I'm really excited about this movie, but I definitely have more to be apprehensive about than I did a week ago, but the hype is still very real, so unfortunately, I don't have a trailer reaction because I wasn't going to wait 3 days to watch it, and I've already watched it about 20 times, but yeah, we're going to go through the trailer and just break it down frame by frame, look at it, and then discuss it for a little bit. Not a super long time, I definitely could, but I don't want to spend forever on this video. I've just had a lot of people ask what I think about the movie, and it's a lot easier to just record a video and have fun discussing it than respond to every person individually with all my thoughts about the movie. So, yeah, let's go to the trailer.
Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett, our mission specialist.
Sorry, what mission?
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet.
Oh my God.
Fortunately for us, all these species exist in one isolated place. Can you be ready tomorrow?
I can guarantee your safety. I mean, more or less.
More or less?
He's your guy?
We're the best at moving things and people in and out of places they shouldn't be.
Move up towards Barbados, avoid government patrol, but there aren't that many anymore.
Why's that?
No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
We need DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs.
Do we have to get a sample from an egg?
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
Maybe we should make it quick.
These dinosaurs were too dangerous for the original park.
Please don't say they're raptors. They're raptors.
The worst of the worst were left here.
Come on! Duncan!
We put ourselves in a place we don't belong. Survival is a long shot.
What the hell are those?
They're helping the mosasaur defend territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what you just said is good.
Okay, so I probably won't be able to play the whole trailer in the video because it will get copyrighted, and I'm not a large YouTube channel, which means that, yeah, copyright is a little bit cooler. But there's a whole lot to be excited about here, so let's just go through this slowly. On Monday, we had that first teaser trailer with just we saw the tail of the Titanosaurus, and then the next day we had another short teaser, but that didn't really tell us as much. And then we got that article that same day, though, that basically told us most of what is in this trailer. So there wasn't as many surprises. I kind of wish I hadn't read the article, but that's when we got some of the dinosaur reveals. But since I'm talking about it a couple days later, it's fine. So here in this opening shot, we have some set photos from a few months ago when people took pictures when they were filming this. I believe this was filmed in London, but I think in the movie it takes place in New York, if I remember correctly. And we have this T-Rex skeleton, which this is said to be the Neo-Jurassic exhibit, and not like the bones of extinct dinosaurs, but more modern animals. These bones do look very fossilized to me, but some people have said that maybe that's just what the aesthetic design for the movie, and some people are saying that this is Rexy the T-Rex, which I would be fine with Rexy dying off screen if she wasn't going to die in Dominion, which I personally think that the end scene of Dominion, there's a lot of different opinions on this, but my opinion, it would have been a little better if Rexy had just won the fight with the Giganotosaurus fair and square and then died afterwards instead of that very silly ending that we ended up getting. And it would have been a lot better storytelling. But just that wouldn't have fixed Dominion, but that's a rant for another time. And anyways, yeah, we have this really classically posed Tyrannosaurus statue in this very old-looking museum. I really like the aesthetics of this, and here we have both Zora Bennett and I believe this is Henry Loomis standing here and watching the banner fall, which is of course a reference to the original Jurassic Park and emphasizing the rebirth of this being, you know, a totally new thing. I like the look of this set though. I'll be interested to see more of it in the actual movie. But yeah, just moving along. Then we have this character. I can't remember what his name is, but I believe he's for the company, the pharma company that is doing this supposedly illegal operation to go to this island, and has hired Zora and now Henry Loomis. And we also see this Triceratops skeleton here. And I think I remember we got some pictures when they were making the movie of some of the crates that were labeled, and I think the Triceratops skull was one of those. I do actually like Henry Loomis's reaction and expression here, and we don't really get that much of the characters in this 2-minute trailer, which I was actually pleasantly surprised with the runtime of this trailer, especially since they waited so long. Initially, I was expecting like a 45-second teaser trailer in December, and then we'd get a full trailer later on. But I kind of like having the longer trailer. And, well, I'll talk about this more later, but a lot of people have said that the trailer reveals too much about the movie, and at first glance, I see why they say that's true, but I actually think there's something else going on, so I don't think so. And then, yes, what mission, and then we get this shot straight to what we've seen probably the most set photos of is this scene in the long grass. This is probably a very early scene on the island. I really like how the environment's looking here with all the mist and stuff. It is very saturated, which I think is fine, but I'll be interested to see more of the nighttime scenes, the scenes in the denser jungles. Like we know there's a swamp sequence that, by the way, we will be discussing some of the leaks in this movie that are probably true now, because a lot of these accompanied the leaks about the dinosaur designs that ended up to be true. So it's rumored that there's a giant crocodile in this movie, maybe Parasaurus. I don't really know though. So it'll be interesting because we see a lot of daytime shots right now, which makes sense. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull off the jungle look really well. I remember there being a quote from, I don't remember if it was Gareth Edwards or, no, it was David Cope, yeah, because he was on the soundstage when they were filming in London, and he said it was a lot like filming The Lost World, so that'll be interesting to see. And then we get this other shot of the Titanosaurus tail. This is what we saw in the teaser on Monday. I'm just looking at the background. I think it was a great choice to film in Thailand with all these really tall cliffs. I'll be talking about the islands a lot more later, but it does definitely set up a cool environment. Reminds me of Kong Skull Island type stuff. These trees look great. I'm focusing on the plants more than what's actually going on in the shot. The costume design is fairly good. I don't really like her costume. I don't know why. It's like over the top, but also not at the same time. I said that when some of the screenshots were released, but Henry Loomis looks pretty cool here. And I think, even though he's more of like the scientist character, and it's said that he's less competent in action than the other characters, I think he's going to turn out to be pretty cool over the course of the movie and have a cool development with that. And we get the Titanosaur tail. I'm not sure how they didn't see the Titanosaurus before, because they're like 100 feet long.
Those lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet. Oh my god.
And I'll be talking about the voiceover later because I'm going through this frame by frame. Before I talk about the Titanosaurus, one I want to note, they're running through the field towards them, which feels very dangerous, even though they're going to take their DNA with that gun that they have. But these cliffs in the background just look awesome. It's so different from what we've seen before, but like this still feels very Jurassic right here, even though it's very bright in the daytime. The lighting's very different from what we've seen before, but it's still interesting. And I like having these open valleys. It does feel a little bit sparse since we only have 2 animals here. I'll be interested to see, but I think the ecosystem of this island might be a little more empty. The other herbivore creatures we have rumored for this movie are Parasaurolophus, Triceratops, and I think it's Aquilops is the little one. But I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more of that, because even though this is a very cool setting, it does very much feel like they've plopped down the 3D models of these Titanosaurus in a big empty field. The background looks great though. And about the Titanosaurus design, well, I'm a little mixed on it. On one end, I do think it's better than the Dreadnoughtus, and I guess also the Jurassic World Apatosaurus. I'm not sure because I'll have to see them in the movie. I am actually kind of a fan of the Jurassic World Apatosaurus, even though it's really basic in design. it does remind me of those very old sauropod designs, and it feels very alive, especially because of the one scene where it dies. That's great animatronic there. So it'll be interesting to see these guys in the movie. They could definitely move up a little bit, but this is nowhere as good as either of the Brachiosaurus designs. The sails, I'm kind of fine with it. I think they could have done some more interesting stuff. Would have liked to see some osteoderms like they actually probably had. The really long tails, that's definitely a creative liberty. I would have preferred to see Diplodocus in this movie, but then they couldn't say it's the largest dinosaur. And that would have been because Diplodocus is my favorite sauropod. But, you know, did Titanosaurus actually have a tail as long? Probably not, but, like, I think it's fine. We can take creative liberties in a Jurassic movie, and they're still doing overall an improved job at paleontological reference and making it up to date, which the original Jurassic Park people complain about its inaccuracy all the time, and I've said this 1,000 times, and so does everybody else, but somehow people still talk about it constantly. That was incredibly paleo-accurate for the time. They made a couple of intentional design choices to not be accurate, but like even the Dilophosaurus, when it was originally made, that was meant to be a juvenile animal. As we've seen now, they've changed that in the canon, and it is just downsized. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm fine with the sails. I think they could have done something more interesting. I've heard a lot of people talk about the face of that Titanosaurus looking really goofy. I'm not an expert on Titanosaurs anatomy very much. I really like the striping we got here, and as I watch this trailer, I'm really excited for Jurassic World Evolution 3 and to see these animals and all the animals in the trailer in that. So yeah, I don't want this video to be too long, so let's move on to the next shot. We get this. It looks like maybe the Titanosaurs are looking at them. I hadn't actually noticed that before. These cliffs, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, look almost Mediterranean in the rock coloration. It's very different from what we've seen before, but again, I'll come back to the island in a little bit. We get this epic, dramatic shot with the Quetzalcoatlus flying. I'll talk about the Quetzalcoatlus more when we get a better look at them. But this looks so cool. I'm still, now that I think about it, I don't think I like the lighter colored rock as much as Sorna and stuff, but it's still pretty cool, and like, it's very dramatic for sure. And I think what they've done with the coloration helps make that look even a little better.
In one isolated place.
I just noticed there's a second pterosaur flying right there. So we get back to the museum.
Be ready tomorrow?
I can guarantee your safety.
I believe this is a Deinonychus here.
I mean, more or less. More or less?
So one thing people have talked about in this movie is that they're kind of following with like this very quippy humor that you see a lot in modern movies that a lot of people are very tired of, and I think it works in some movies, but especially since they talk so much about this being a more serious movie, more like Jurassic Park, which, remember, Jurassic Park does have humor in it. It has funny bits, and Gareth Edwards says in one of his rules is that humor is oxygen, and I don't think that means you need it all the time, but it's, you get it, you take a breath of humor between bits, and I think that can definitely be done well. And I think if what we're seeing in the trailer, obviously this is a trailer that's meant to get millions of people to go watch this movie. This isn't necessarily a trailer made for the fans. This is the trailer that's going to be playing at the Super Bowl. Assumedly, I doubt they'd do anything different. Speaking of which, I've had people ask me about getting a second trailer for this. I think it'll be a while before we do get a second trailer. I would guess right now, probably late April will be the second trailer, or maybe early May. I don't really know, but it's probably going to be a while, probably early May. So yeah, I think this is fine. It does feel a little bit character breaking. Obviously, we don't know that much about their characters yet. There's a couple in here that do actually bother me, but this one's fine. We get this new Universal logo. I'm assuming this is movie specific. I kind of don't like it because it looks very grayed out, but the Jurassic text in the logo is fine. Probably in the movie they'll just play the normal Universal logo though. So then we get this shot where they were filming in, I don't remember where they filmed this because I don't believe this bit is in Thailand. I'm pretty sure the background is CG because this is where that restaurant was where they were filming, and now I'm paying more attention to this shot. These trees look awesome. And obviously this isn't on the island, but this is in the same general area. And so I just noticed this T-Rex mural on the wall right there, so this is definitely in the same equatorial region where the wild dinosaurs still continue to live, which I really like that idea. It's like in the original novel. We have the dinosaurs on the island, and they get into the jungles of Costa Rica, but they don't really spread to the whole world. And the danger is the diseases, which I'll be getting to that later. So yeah, this town looks really cool. Don't really get to see that much of it in this one shot. Not much that we hadn't already seen from the set photos, but it looks pretty cool in the movie. And then we get to see Mahershala's the lead character, which I am blanking on his name right now. Duncan Kincaid. Yeah. So from the article we got on Tuesday, we know that he was a mercenary who worked with Zora Bennett, but now he's basically retired. It kind of reminds me of Roland Tembo in The Lost World, if you guys have seen that deleted scene, which is honestly one of the best parts of the movie. And this is just really cool. I'd be interested to see this whole scene. We obviously don't get much here, but it does excite me to see this earlier bit of the movie, which I think it'll be pretty good to see this all come together, as long as they don't rush through it. I kind of want them to take their time with the opening of the movie. I'm kind of worried that this movie will have too short of a runtime. It's hard to say, though. Again, I'll talk about what I think is actually going on with the story in a little bit. So yeah, then we got the shot. I cannot remember this guy's name. But he's the big pharma representative who goes with them to the islands. And we still don't know what company that is, or what's really going on there. Obviously, wouldn't be InGen because, well, I'll get to that later. But,
Not moving things.
And then she basically just describes what they do. Here we see the megalodon jaws that were in the background, and this does look like not fossil. Like, this is from a living megalodon, which is a nice detail. That obviously we've had the dinosaurs in our world thing, which you guys know how I feel about that. But it is very cool to see that we can just get these little references to different animals that have been out there at some point. Yeah, but now this megalodon is dead. Maybe it was killed by the people in this town, and now it's Jaws' friend the bar, which is really cool. Especially, it makes sense. It'll be interesting to see more of this town. I don't really have much to say on it yet. But then we get the shot of the boat going through the ocean, which all these ocean scenes they filmed in Malta. This looks pretty good. We saw them filming this boat. We get this very Jurassic World looking high-tech table, and I kind of like the synthesis between the eras, which we kind of see in the logo. A lot of people want us to just 100% return to the Jurassic Park, which I would be fine with that. But I also like that they're making an attempt to blend it and make a movie for everyone that everyone can enjoy. And, sometimes it feels a little too high-tech, but I'm cool with this. This looks cool. And we can't really see much of the map, but he says that they're going past Barbados, which means that this is our confirmation that this island is not Isla Sorna. I'll be doing my full rant on that after we get through the trailer. But,
Barbados? Avoid government patrol?
yeah, and he says that there aren't... Okay, so there used to be government patrols on this island. So obviously this is something that has been known about for a little while. I'm going to do some theorizing on the island right now. So it's not Sorna. I'm thinking if it's had government patrols, it probably hasn't been known about for that long. But I'm thinking maybe Biosyn knew about it. But probably not Masrani Global. And then we get the shot of the island. We see some sort of infrastructure here, but I can't really tell what this is. It's very large in scale, but I've thought about this, and I really don't know what we're looking at here. I'll be interested to see, but the island looks great with these really vertical cliffs.
Why's that?
And then we get a classic fence with the danger 10,000 volts. Obviously isn't the same as the fence we normally get. There's no concrete barrier here, so that makes it very different from Jurassic Park. You can see this is more constructed more bare bones in the actual park. And we just have some sort of construction equipment going on here. Get to see some of the older ruins on the island, which it's implied that this island has been abandoned since the late 80s or early 90s. Probably 93, 94. But, well, I'll get to that in a little bit once we see the trailer.
No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
And here we see them loading up this DNA capture rifle thing. I'll be interested to see how that works. And then we get this other shot of, this is a different boat. I'm wondering if this is the family's boat, and because this doesn't look like the military boat they were on earlier. Obviously it's a different boat, but because obviously we know in this movie that their mission gets interrupted by the family that crashes on the islands. I'll be interested to see how they actually pull that off. It's very Jurassic Park 3. The island doesn't look very big here, I guess. it's still curving off there. So it's hard to tell. This cliff is absolutely epic. That just, like, I can't believe that most of this is not CG. Like, it's so cool that this is real. Okay, so here we get this shot of inside the facility, and she says that this was the research facility for the first Jurassic Park, which is kind of silly because there was only one Jurassic Park. But for non-fans of the franchise, see why they would say that. And so I will just say briefly on the technology. This is such a tiny little thing, and it's not a criticism of the trailer, but I wish, like, I think that it's a reference to the orange amber and stuff being preserved in here, but it would look much more Jurassic Park if this was blue. And I know they're using orange on their color palette a lot for this movie, orange and greens. Yeah, that would have been really cool, and very Jurassic Park 3. I love that scene. Which I think there's a lot of intentional references going on here. And, you know, you can see this computer is old. It's a little weird, though, that they, you know, but, like, some of this looks more modern, and in a little bit. Here we get a faded engine logo. It's Laboratory 01, I believe that says, or maybe 07. I'm not really sure, and we can't read this text because it's out of focus. So there's multiple laboratories on this island. It is confirmed engine. That is the old engine logo. We have seen on some set photos there is a alternate engine logo that is more modernized, but I'll be talking about that in a little bit. So here, I'll go back to that. We get this Velociraptor that is in the tank, apparently growing a second head of some kind, because, you know, this is a failed creature. It does seem to have a tiger stripe design, which means that this raptor, assuming that they're keeping with their no retcons rule, which they don't seem to be, unless they're doing the really cool thing that this movie could be doing, that I'll be talking about in a minute, that yeah, that would mean this Velociraptor was hatched in, what year were they? Late 80s, but I'm blanking on the actual year that the tiger stripe raptors would have been hatched. I would have been after the original strain, so it's weird to have a mutated one that's not a Jurassic Park raptor, but honestly, it's fine. And then we get this little embryo of some kind in this container, and here is our first indication that there's something weird going on here. It's not just an abandoned facility for decades. Look at this technology. Does this look like Jurassic Park to you guys? No, this looks like Biosyn era, or at least Masrani Global type stuff, and this looks newer. I am fairly confident. Either they're doing something weird and trying to, like, synthesize the technologies and just kind of ignore the canon for the sake of something that looks and feels cool, which to a degree, okay, you know, it's a rebirth, do something different, but also, I think that there have been people here since it was abandoned, probably in '94. We get some lettering on these, you know, this one's fallen, this one seems to be empty. It's really hard to tell without more of the shots, but it's really fun to theorize about this. I think it's, especially with some of the shots we get later, I think there have almost certainly been people here since then. And I think it's probably engine because of the modernized engine logo and because of the car that we're going to see. So yeah, here we get a shot of loading the DNA collection gun, and then in the field, about to shoot the Titanosaurus.
Three biggest dinosaurs.
And then I really like the shot. We're still in the long grass, it seems, so I'm wondering if this section of the movie is going to move very rapidly. I'm worried it might be too fast, but I can also see that happening. You know, when you really think about it, The Lost World moves pretty quickly, the section they're actually on the island going through their mission, and it's very short. But it doesn't feel like it when you actually watch the movie, so I think David Cope can write a well-paced movie. These waterfalls look epic, and yeah.
Do we have to get a sample
So do the Quetzalcoatlus, from here at least.
from an egg?
This scene looks like it's going to be so fun. And I know that there's a lot of complaint about too much action involving the humans in Jurassic World, especially if you look at Dominion and Chaos Theory. And I agree with the way it's done, but I think what a lot of people have said is like, oh, we don't want, you know, action in these movies. I don't think that it's they don't need action. They need to have good action that's not faked and where the characters, they can build actual tension. And it's not just these superhuman characters, you know, fighting CG lizards. It's, you know, people interacting with the environment and interacting with nature, and that's the whole thing. You know, there was, in the Jurassic Park novel, there's a lot of human action. Muldoon, like, with the rocket launcher. That was a crazy scene. And then you have Alan Grant with the eggs in the Velociraptor scene. But like, when you get stuff like in Chaos Theory, with them literally fighting Atrociraptors in enclosed environments, and Jurassic World Dominion, with how Owen was in that, and also Fallen Kingdom. I liked Owen in Jurassic World. I can do a longer rant on this, but I'm not going to. But, yeah, how that character turned out, and so did some of the other characters in the movies. That's just not it. But I think that David Coop, paired with Gareth Edwards, can make some really fun action sequences, and I think this will be one of them.
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
And I actually, like, this is one of those, like, little silly lines that people don't like, but I'm honestly fine with that one, and I think it helps with Henry Loomis's character as he's not, like, just another Alan Grant. He's very much his own character, and I kind of like him talking really fast, and, I think he'll probably be the standout character of this movie. It's hard to say, because we can't really see much of the other characters' arcs in this, but, especially what they said in the article about him having a connection to Alan Grant, and, you know, myself included, people were saying that he could be the kid from the first Jurassic Park, which obviously the age doesn't line up, but like that would be so perfect that like I would let it slide, the age not working. Especially if like later we see him with the Velociraptors. It would be really cool if he got a scene with the Velociraptors, you know, he evades the raptors because he knows how they hunt. And then what if he did Alan Grant's scene from the novel with the eggs? Because we know they're doing some novel references in this with the river scene. It would be really, really cool to see basically that scene play out on screen. Especially since they're in InGen Labs, it could totally be done. Okay, here I just want to mention in this temple, here's another thing with the islands. Why we thought it was Sorna, and I will do my rant on why it should have been Sorna, well, assuming that they're going with the more basic plotline that's presented to us here. There were already Mayans on Isla Sorna. Isla Nublar has its own native population, but there were literally, like, Mayans on Isla Sorna for many, many years, probably centuries. But they were gone by the time Hammond got to Sorna, unlike Nublar, which still had a native population when they started building there. And then we get to see this kind of relief of a skull here, which reminds me of on the temple of Kukulkan, which I just said that wrong. But basically, I think that's intentional, because obviously we have the Quetzalcoatlus in here. I know we talked about their design a little bit, but they should have leaned into that, them being like the feathered serpents. They could have done some really cool stuff with that. And they're not even feathered like pterosaurs should be. I don't believe so. I'll look at them closer in just a second. But this temple set piece looks really cool. This is obviously an intentional reference to Indiana Jones and the Golden Idol. And the Loomis out here with the egg. I really love these carvings in the background. I would be excited to see this whole scene. This trailer does a very good job at making me excited to see these whole set pieces. And people have said they revealed too much, but then they released this little, like 10-second clip on the official Jurassic World channel the day after the trailer, where basically they have Jonathan Bailey talking, and we get a couple shots of them filming and some very different scenes. So it's very clear that there's still a lot more coming from this movie. And especially story-wise, I think there's a lot that has not been revealed to us. I don't think it's as straightforward as the trailer presents it, at least later on in the movie.
We should make it quick.
I do like, from what I can tell, I do like Jonathan Bailey's acting here. It's hard to tell for the others. I've heard some people be very apprehensive about Zora Bennett's character, and that, you know, especially with some of her lines in this trailer. But I think she can definitely pull it off in the movie. Again, we only have 2 minutes, and it's very focused on just telling us the premise of the movie, because not everybody's read the synopsis. In fact, very few people have, and, you know, for most of you watching this movie, like me, you've known about this movie for over 13 months, but the vast majority of the millions of people who have now seen this trailer had not before. And here we got our first look at this Quetzalcoatlus. Here it looks, well, there we go. The proportions first slightly bother me. As a pterosaur design, I like this design. The colors are great. It's definitely better than the Jurassic World Pteranodon, and probably, yeah, I'd say better than the Jurassic World Dimorphodon also. But, like, this is, aside from finally being properly sized, this is a huge step down from the Dominion Quetzalcoatlus, which is, like, the one thing from Dominion, this is a step down. in is the design of the Quetzal. And I don't know why they couldn't have just done something that actually looks like an Asdarkadid. This doesn't look like an Asdarkadid. They didn't lean into like the feathered serpent look. Aside from the colors, I don't like this design, and it feels smaller because it doesn't have the super tall neck, and the beak is literally just in the wrong position, and it doesn't make it cooler. It just looks silly. And you know, it's a little bit toy proportions, which, okay. You know, I think they can have some cool action, but like, they could have done so many things better with this design. It's okay though. And then we go. So yeah, that scene's going to be really fun. Can't wait to see more of it. A lot of people said we can basically construct the entire scene, but I think there's going to be even more going on there than you think. Remember, we got like literally what, like 12 seconds, 15 seconds of footage of that sequence. It's probably like a 5-minute sequence in the movie. So we have not seen everything that's going to happen. And I just want to shout out the music in this trailer is really good, and it uses the Jurassic Park motif pretty effectively, which so did the teasers. I'll be really interested to see the actual soundtrack. Probably the trailer soundtrack doesn't tell us much about the actual soundtrack. Usually that's done by a separate composer, but sometimes it's not. No, we still don't know who's composing for this movie. But there's several names being thrown around. Nobody knows though. By the way, I do actually really like this font. It reminds me of the Jurassic World font, but with this more green color, I really like it. And here we get another wide shot of the island. It looks awesome. I'd be interested to see a map of this island from above and construct the ecosystem, because I'm not too sure that's going to be cleverly constructed. I'm a little bit apprehensive on that front, but I'll talk about why a little more later.
These dinosaurs.
If I remember to. Here we get this really cool scene that we got a screenshot of a long time ago with the flare and Duncan Kincaid. I keep forgetting his name. I keep just wanting to call him by his actor's name because, you know, this is actually really funny to me. There've been very few movies that have actually like followed the development like this, and I usually don't know the names of the actors, or at least I know the names of their characters more than I know the names of their actors. So it was a little weird to me to be following this movie so closely that I knew all the names of the cast before I knew their character names. So I'm using their names interchangeably sometimes.
Too dangerous for.
That was also in the water. We get that like swamp environment. Obviously, they're gonna be. I can't really tell what's going on in the background, but we can see some of the family here. We don't really know anything about their characters too, which that's gonna take up a lot of runtime. I'll be interested to see what's going on with them. They could do some cool stuff. I kind of hope they're not just randomly here as an obstacle for the main characters to deal with, and just so we have more faces in the movie.
The original park.
He says the dinosaurs are too dangerous for the original park. That doesn't necessarily apply to every single thing. I've heard people criticize this and say, then why is there a T-Rex on the island? Why is there a Dilophosaurus on the island? Why is there a Titanosaurus on the island? That's not what that means. He's probably referring specifically to the mutants, or specific animals. But I'll be talking about the lore implications for this in a little bit, which there are a lot of them. And I really hope that there is what I think is going on with the plot, because I will be slightly disappointed if it's just what's shown in this trailer, which is just what we've been told by the synopsis. Because I'm sure it doesn't matter to most people. They want a cool movie. They want a movie with a good story, and so do I. The most important thing is to have a good story. If it messes with the lore for that sacrifice, then that's okay. But, like, I'll be doing this right after I get through the trailer. And here we get the shot of the Velociraptors. I will say, in a couple places, the CG doesn't look that polished. This looks okay to me, but, like, the Titanosaurus look very, like, they're a 3D model. Obviously, they'll probably be doing some more touch-up in the next few months, because they still have, the movie's not done. They're still doing CG work. The raptors look really cool, from what we can tell. I'm glad they kept the design hidden. It's rumored to be a lot like the Jurassic Park 3 raptors, so that will be cool, which it doesn't necessarily make sense for Jurassic Park 3 style raptors to be on this island given the lore, unless they do the other thing, which... Again, I really hope if he is the kid from the original Jurassic Park, which I'm thinking is less likely now, but, like, just the way he talked about it in the article, it seems like too perfect, aside from his age not quite being right, but, like, I don't know. They could do some cool stuff with that.
The worst.
And yeah, now we have to finally talk about it. Here they're on the dock, and he has the crate, which looks a little dirty and beaten up. This is, I think, fairly late in the movie. We see basically all our characters who are alive up to this point. It looks like the whole family's here. I think probably one of them will die. They talked about there being a lot of character deaths, and I think Duncan will die, and so will Big Pharma guy, and what's the name of the other guy? I cannot remember his name. We saw him earlier on with this Titanosaurus with the beard.
To the worst.
And here we see the mutant step on screen, and it is absolutely gigantic. It looks very different in size between a few shots. I think this is making it look a little bigger than it is. I don't think it's really that much more huge than like a Tyrannosaurus or something. Which I will say, for the as far as dinosaur fights in this movie, I could see them not having a dinosaur fight and having the human characters kill the mutant. Please kill it. And, you know, just to break away from that. But, like, just because the plot isn't centered around the dinosaur fights, which is a big issue. Like, they did this whole thing in Dominion and a little bit Fallen Kingdom too. And also Jurassic World. But Jurassic World was fine because it was the first time and it was so cool that it was worth it. Building up to the dinosaur fights being, like, a point on the story, that led to, sorry, I can't speak, to, like, having these very characterized dinosaurs, which that was a rabbit hole that created a lot of issues with that trilogy. But I kind of would like to see the T-Rex just be epic and fight the mutant and kill it. It's been rumored that it will be the Spinosaurus that does that, but I hope not. I really want the T-Rex to just be cool in this movie for once. Yeah, it's been a while. I'll talk about the mutant when we get a better shot of it. There we go. So the family, and that was the screenshot we saw earlier. Still the old engine logo. We see the modernized one a little later. And here we see they're in the swamp. They're outside, and there's the mutant. And you talk about there being an inspiration from the Rancor from Return of the Jedi. It literally just looks like that, though, except walking on its knuckles. I was so hoping it wasn't in the movie. I was so hoping the leaks weren't true. This is worse to me than the Indoraptor. Like, there's no way around it. What happened to your rule, all real science? Where did that go? Why does this even need to be in the movie? There's no reason. And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't look good. It messes with the lore in so many ways. And it's just not as cool as if you just had an actual dinosaur in the movie. It's just less cool and it's unnecessary. And it breaks the immersion and... Like, okay, at least the Indominus Rex looks like a theropod. And it has been genetically enhanced, and it serves the story. It is a central point for the story. It does a lot of really cool stuff in the story. And it still kind of seems like a dinosaur. It is shaped like a dinosaur. The Indoraptor is a little more out there, a little more of a mess story-wise, but design-wise, it's still shaped like a theropod, and it still mostly does dinosaur things. This is not remotely a dinosaur. This is a fine monster design. I think this looks cool. If you were to, like, as a kaiju, or, like, even just as a this-size monster, in a monster movie. Like, why? I know it's kind of supposed to be a reference to, like, the mutant dinosaurs in, like, the 90s and early 2000s people were talking about, but, like, none of us actually liked that to be in a movie. Those were all jokes when people talk about the human dinosaur hybrids and stuff. Like, obviously it wasn't a joke for the people that didn't make the movies, thankfully. But, like, I would have rather seen the Ultimasaurus than this, honestly. The Ultimasaurus, in all its absurd stupidity, would have been better than this in the movie. Like, I don't have any way to get around it. Maybe it won't be that big of a plot point, and I can just ignore it and enjoy the rest of the movie, and the rest of the movie will be really good, and I can just ignore this element of it. And overall, I'll still like the movie. And I think overall, I still will like the movie, but like this is gonna be better than Dominion. This is gonna be better than Fallen Kingdom. If they mess it up, it's not gonna be better than Jurassic Park 3. It's not gonna be better than Jurassic World. But if they do everything right, I think it can be. you know, there's definitely some botched potential in this movie, and I was kind of sad when I started thinking about the trailer. It is still really hyped to see all this, and I'll be talking about it more later. I think they can kind of save most of the issues I have with this right now, story-wise. But, like, just why did you do this? Why? Why David Cope? Why did you... Who thought this was a good idea? It just makes it worse. I will say the swamp environment looks really cool, especially with the flare. This is going to be a cool scene, but you know what would be cooler? If it was just an actual dinosaur. It would be so much cooler. The Roar of the Mutant, it's fine. It's kind of bland to me, though. Like, the sound effects of the more recent creatures, the Indominus Rex was cool. The Indoraptor was fine, but it was, like, taken from the Indominus and just scaled down. Like, the sound design has not been nearly as peak. Like, look at Jurassic Park. We have the original Brachiosaur sounds, all the original T-Rex sounds, all the original Velociraptor sounds, all in that movie. And then the Lost World, the T-Rex sound effects were expanded upon, and they were amazing. And then we got a little bit of Pteranodon, and then Jurassic Park 3 we got Pteranodon, we got epic Spinosaur sounds, which, you know, Jurassic Park 3 less so, but, like, we don't get that kind of thought-out sound design. It's very generic a lot of the time. The Indominus was the standout example that comes to mind, but, like, you know, just look at the Giganotosaurus. It's just very bland, like, almost all the time. I will say the Tarbosaurus in Cretaceous was really cool. The Scorpius was okay, but, I guess it's fine. We see a new era. Would have been a lot better if Dominion actually concluded the previous era, but, I like that they're, you know, going for the Rebirth. Without saying Dominion was bad, they're saying Dominion was bad. And David Goat clearly thinks so, though he's clearly not allowed to say that. Okay, I'm gonna try... I wish I had this in, like, way more upscaled. We get this very brief shot of the Jeep, which... This is a new Jeep, guys. Obviously, the environment... This looks so cool. Like, look at the blue and yellow light. That is perfect. But, like, this is not a worn Jeep. It's driving perfectly fine. This is way more modern than the 90s Jeeps. This isn't an old engine vehicle. This is new to the island, and I don't think they brought them with it because we got some set photos of the Jeep, and it has engine logos on it. And I'm assuming the company isn't engine, and it has the modernized engine logo on it, because that would be really weird, but it would also make sense for them to know about the island. So, I think they want to keep it a secret if they were engine, though, so it'd be weird for them to be just kind of broadcasting it like that to Henry Loomis's character especially. So, you know, I'll be interested to see what that is. I'm really hoping there have been people since engine, because that will fix a lot of the lore problems. We get the shot of them running through a tunnel. I'm pretty sure this is old. It doesn't really look like engine, but this is fine. There we see she's actually shooting a gun for once, because people don't normally do that in these movies, which obviously, I don't like it when they shoot the dinosaurs. It's kind of takes away from the whole point of, you know, nature is out of our control. We can't predict their behavior. It's not because they're, like, crazy powerful animals. They're not a xenomorph. But, like, if you can just shoot the Velociraptors, then that puts the humans in control. So, like, I was fine with, like, in Jurassic Park the game, for those of you who know, when Oscar fights the Velociraptor and kills it, that is epic. That is good action, and it's just once, and even still, he doesn't, like, he still loses in the end. And that was really cool. And this is cool. Obviously, we don't actually know if she's even shooting at a dinosaur. And, like, Roland Tembo is going to shoot the dinosaur, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's an unpredictable environment. So I really hope we don't see them actually shooting at dinosaurs in this movie, and I really don't want to see the dinosaurs soaking up bullets, because, like, in every dinosaur video game that gets revealed, like, every 2 months now, that's always what they're doing, and the gameplay is just so boring to me. This was an epic surprise. We get a new Dilophosaur design. I really like this Dilophosaur design. It's not as peak as the original Jurassic Park, but I kind of like that the frill is more transparent and it's shining through. This technology in the background, this looks new. Obviously it's been here for a little while, you can tell, but, like, this is not 80s. Yeah, the Dilophosaur design is epic. I assume that the family hasn't been on the island that long. We get this little bridge here. Obviously, Dilophosaur was one of the species that was not rumored. I don't believe it was rumored for this movie. So maybe there are still some surprises on that front. But the rumors about the dinosaur designs turned out to be accurate, so are probably the other ones we haven't had revealed yet. And, it would have been, you know what would be really cool in this scene? The Dilophosaur starts attacking them, and then an adult, like, a real-sized Dilophosaur with the black and yellow patterns steps in, kills this Dilophosaur, and then that would be a really cool sequence. Like, we get this really nice Dilophosaur design, steps in, you know, we get this, and then that would be so cool. And then it would be even more like the river sequence if this is around the same time as the T-Rex. Which, I think I heard some people say that this is the sleeping T-Rex. I don't think so, but maybe. Hard to say.
We put ourselves in.
And there we go. This was the first image I saw from the article. Ooh, that is a good T-Rex design. That is a good T-Rex design. I just noticed the scarring going on here. That looks so good. It looks so good. This, obviously, we have the striping, which reminds me of Big Edie and Little Edie, which is one of the strains of 3 or 4 strains of T-Rex that were created. I wonder if this is included in the 7 Rexes, that soft canon, so they don't actually have to pay attention to that. But, assuming this was created by Old Engine, which would make sense because of the skin patterning. Yeah, it would be cool. And then, this might be my 3rd favorite T-Rex design. I'll have to see it in the movie, but this might be my 3rd favorite after the Buck and Doe Rex.
In a place we don't.
Here we get the shot with the mutants. I think this is in the past, because the mutant is clearly downscaled, and I'm hoping there's not more than one. Please don't make there be more than one. Just have there be one and let it die. And I don't think these are characters that we know. We have an engine logo. I'm pretty sure this is the old engine logo. I think it's been closed in here, but, like, I actually would like to see some flashbacks. That would be cool. Just some old stuff. But, like, this looks a little modern. It'll be interesting. Maybe that's an engine logo? I don't know. And a little bit of that river sequence. We haven't seen the boat yet. This T-Rex looks awesome. I cannot wait for the river scene. It's going to be so cool. The water looks really good, too. I like that they're doing this stuff with water and environmental interaction. It's really cool. Look at that chunk.
Survival is a long shot.
So yeah, this is in the swamp. I think I really like how the jungle is looking so far. I would like to see it a little darker and more compact, but we haven't really gotten a chance to see that yet. I think they're still keeping a lot hidden. Even though we have a lot revealed, there's not really that much we didn't know, like, aside from the visuals. Story-wise, there's not that much we know now that we didn't know. Not really. And here it is. This is going to be a big action set piece. I just noticed, is there a dent in the Spinosaurus sail? I think there is. This is probably the lead Spinosaur, and we get 2 others, and the Mosasaurus. So, this is that red boat we saw earlier, and I just realized that that is the same boat, and we saw it from the front, and it's gray on the front, and it's red on the back. So that is the same boat, and the family's boat is separate. This could be early on when they arrive at the island. This could be trying to leave. I don't really know. Probably not, because this would be weird to do after, like, your climactic finale at night. But, what do I think about the Spinosaurus design? When I saw this screenshot, I was like, yes, let's go. I was apprehensive about having a paleo-accurate Spinosaur for lore reasons mostly, but also just because the JP3 is so cool. I would love to see it return, and obviously we already got it in Camp Cretaceous. But, like, if they were going to do a Jurassic Park Spinosaurus, just do a Jurassic Park Spinosaurus. But when I saw 3 of them, I was like, that works. That works better for me. Especially since it's not, like, the big bad dinosaur. Because we don't have a big bad dinosaur, we have a big bad monster. And I'll talk about the Mosasaur a little more later when we get a clearer shot of it. But, they just move, and it's so cool. Like, this is very clearly not trying to be the same animal as the Spinosaurus we got in Jurassic Park 3. This is a different strain, different animal. Whatever.
What the hell are those?
I like the different sails. And here we see the family. So they've already found the family.
Defend territory.
He seems really cool. We got a little more of the Mosasaur. He's still alive at this point.
Stock.
Hunt.
And here's the worst one.
None of what you just said is good.
Yes, we know. Please don't talk like that in this movie. I want it to be serious. And I'm hoping that if it's just like the 4 we have in this, that's fine. You know, throw in some humor. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. It's not a horror movie, and a lot of people ask for it. But I think they don't really want horror. They want it to be serious. They want it to be action, adventure, thriller, like Jurassic Park, the go-to movie. And then water explodes. We cut to the family. This is the same table at the map they were left on earlier, so this is the and we get a little clearer shot of the Spinosaur. It looks fine right now. Well, okay. And there it is. I'm going to be completely honest. I think paleo-accurate Spino is a really cool animal. And putting it in a Jurassic World movie can look really, really good. Obviously, it needs to behave like a totally separate animal from Jurassic Park 3 Spino, and that's fine. But this is such a humongous downgrade. Like, such a downgrade from Jurassic Park 3 Spino. Just thinking about the Jurassic Park 3 Spino right now, and I'm thinking about all the cool stuff they could have done with the Spinosaur design, and they just didn't. I don't think this is the flattering angle of it. It looks a little chunky because he's, like, the way he's moving. The arms look good to me. The snout, I don't like how it bends down. A lot of people said it looks like the Jurassic World Baryonyx, but, like, it's because they're related animals. This is a little weird. It's a little weird. It's just such a downgrade, and I would have liked to see them be a little sleeker. I'm fine with like the reptilian approach. This maybe that's a green skin pattern, but maybe this is like algae growing on them, which would be cool. These big like water lizards, that could be cool. But like they could have done so many better designs. You get your chance to design a Jurassic World Spinosaurus however you want. You get to do the paleo accurate Jurassic World Spinosaurus, and this is what you do. It's not as bad as the Quetzal, especially since they're in the water. It's definitely better than the Quetzal, but like, I'm a little disappointed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Overall, though, the dinosaur designs in this movie are a step up from what we've seen so far. And here we go. Getting some whiplash right there. The Mosasaurus finally attacks, but we don't see the Spinosaurus in the shot, so maybe they've left or they're just out of frame. And the Mosasaur design. Okay, the Mosasaur. I was kind of hoping it would just be the Jurassic World Mosasaurus, because that would make sense. That would already migrate to this region, you know, move to where the dinosaurs are. That would be fine. And honestly, I like the Jurassic World Mosasaurus design overall, aside from it being oversized. But, like, they didn't even resize it. This is still a gigantic Mosasaurus. It's, like, absolutely huge. See it next to the Spinos. It's, like, 100 feet long still. But, that's whatever. And I do like this design. I think this is a cool Mosasaur design, but for lore reasons, you get the opportunity to have a marine reptile allegedly hatched by InGen, and you do Mosasaurus. One, that messes with the lore, because otherwise, why would Masrani have entirely gotten new Mosasaur genome in 2006? And two, throughout Jurassic World Mosasaur, it would have been so much cleaner for the lore, unless they're doing a really cool thing that I'll talk about. I know I keep saying this. But, like, why did you not make it Tylosaurus? It would have been so good if this was a Tylosaurus. Double scale it if you want it to be huge. But, like, make it reminiscent of the Jurassic Park the game Tylosaurus, but make it its own design, a little more paleo-accurate. That would have been absolutely peak. And come on, we've had Mosasaurus for 10 years, and it's really cool. And you get to introduce a new design for basically any marine reptile that works for the plot. You could have done a pliosaur if you want, but I'm glad they didn't, because I don't like pliosaurs. And then, like, just Tylosaurus would have been perfect. And I know it's very similar to Mosasaurus, but, like, that would have been so cool. But why did they do this? I like the design, though. The design is cool. The scene looks cool. I like how he's smooth, like a... Oh, Basilosaurus would have been awesome. Basilosaurus would have been awesome. I know that kind of messes with stuff, but being a mammal, but... And I like that logo. I didn't like it at first. It looked like a Jurassic World Evolution 2 DLC logo, and I still kind of think so. Like, if I were to give my current ranking of the logos, the Lost World Jurassic Park easily has the best. Jurassic Park is right after that because it's the classic logo. And I think Dominion actually has a really good logo, so it probably goes next. I feel bad putting Fallen Kingdom in last because it does the really cool like title card with the lava flowing over the logo, but it is very gray, so I think it does probably have to go in last. Jurassic World is probably right above that if you're going with the blue one. If you're going with the gray one, it's worse than Fallen Kingdom. The blue one's so much better. And then you have the JP3 logo, which the Spinal logo is the real one. I don't care if they tell you the T-Rex is the real one. It's not. And then that one is probably in the middle. And then I would place Rebirth logo. Would I put it in last? No, it's better than Fallen Kingdom. And it's better than Jurassic World, but it's not better than JP3. Yeah, but I do like the imagery with, you know, yellow for Jurassic Park, blue for Jurassic World. Or it could just be blue for Jurassic World and the new sunlight is kind of sending it away. This would be a good video to have a webcam, but I don't have one, and I'm not buying one to make one video. So, yeah, let's talk about the movie. I don't know how long I've already been recording. I think it's a while. I am very excited for July 2nd, and, you know, obviously it'll probably be out, like, July 1st, because movies always come out the day before they say they will, and, I will definitely be going to see it on that day. I'll probably be talking about it in a post, but, like, I'm not going to be making videos after this video. Probably when you're seeing this, probably tomorrow, I'll be releasing my final video, which will be the Jurassic with Arizona episode with the T-Rex Kingdom, which is probably my best build ever so far. I still have to do a little bit more work on that. But, yeah, then the, sorry, my words aren't wording. I've been talking for a little while. And that'll be the end of the channel. I will still be doing regular community posts. I will probably be live streaming occasionally because if I'm going to be playing video games anyways, why not hang out on live stream? I don't have to edit anything, so I'll be doing the occasional live stream. And whenever I finish a park, I will release a tour of it, but that won't be very often, probably just a couple times a year. Because my parks take a while now, especially since I'm going to be playing Prehistoric Kingdom after I finish Arizona. Sorry for those of you who don't even like regularly watch this channel and are just here for the news, which I don't know if that's any of you because the news has been out for days and there's way bigger creators that you would have found this from. Probably somebody. And, yeah. The islands. Why is it not Sorna? It's... The first synopsis said they will return to the island, not return to an island. But that's fine, I guess. You know, I think it's a cool location. But it doesn't make sense in the lore. I thought they said no retcons. Okay? When Hammond started building Jurassic Park... Look, you know what? I'm going to open it right now. Oh? That's interesting. Maserati Global website was deleted. Like... recently. Ooh. Well. Shoot. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Wait. Really? Well, I guess it's not a retcon if you just delete the canon that it was part of. Yeah, that is very interesting. Because, like, I was able to access that a few months ago. Like, no more than a year ago. That is very weird. That's where all the stuff on the natives of Nublar was, too. I have some screenshots of that, because I was afraid that they would delete it when I started hearing about Rebirth. Huh. Well, that makes a mess of things. Well, anyways, we know if we're going off of soft canon, because apparently Maserati Global doesn't exist anymore, Hammond went to London without fortune or fame, and he met Lockwood. They started synthesizing DNA in, I believe, in the early 70s. I'm trying to remember what year InGen was founded, because Biosyn was founded in 1977. I think InGen was 76 or 71. International Genetics, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 76 or 71. My canon knowledge is slacking right now, guys. I'm supposed to be the Jurassic canon king, and I can't even remember years. But yeah. So then, they start working in those years, and the first dinosaur hatched was a Triceratops in 85. That was the first viable dinosaur created. And let me think, what year was Maisie born? That was 12 years before Fallen Kingdom, so Hammond was already dead by then. How was he mad about... Wait, I just realized that makes no sense. How was Hammond mad about Lockwood creating Maisie years after he was dead? I don't know, that doesn't make sense. But anyways, yeah, then they start working out of Lockwood's basement, and they don't need to move anywhere, really, because they buy Sorna in 83. At the same time, they buy San Diego as the location for the park. They buy Sorna because it's out of the country, and the laws are different for genetic engineering. If you want to hear more about that, read the Jurassic Park book, which is obviously a different canon, but the same rules apply. So that's because there weren't U.S. regulations on genetic engineering, so they're able to create the dinosaurs there and then just move them to San Diego. So why is this island existing? They had Sorna from 1983. That is the case, unless they're just changing the canon, that is a retcon. That's what a retcon is, and they said no retcons. So, if you're going to... Why? Why have another island in a different country to work on before that when you could have just worked out of Lockwood's basement until 85? That doesn't make sense. Like, guys, if any of you have not heard the Hammond memoirs from Trespasser, they are non-canon. Well, they're soft canon. Some of them are functionally canon, but some of them have different years because they included some novel canon stuff, and it was a mess when they were recording it. But those are so good and tell us so much about Sorna. And like, literally, that's what Sorna is. It's their experimental ground. If there were mutant dinosaurs, that's where they'd be. There's no reason to have like a separate island. Why would you spend... They already owned any of the 5 deaths. They could have, if they wanted another island for whatever reason, they could have just built there. Why go to a different country to buy a different island that you keep entirely secret and somehow off the books and somehow financing separately? Because we'll get to that later. But if they were working here after Engine filed for Chapter 11, how were they doing that? With what money? Go watch the Lead Us Into the Lost World. They had $100 million of debts to pay off after Jurassic Park. Not to mention the amount of money they lost investing. They lost, I think it was $800-something million invested in Jurassic Park, which it would cost more than that to build it in real life, just the infrastructure, not to mention even the dinosaurs. So they lost a ridiculous amount of money. It was $100 million in lawsuits. And so Engine filed for Chapter 11, and then Australian Global bought them out in 1998. That makes sense. Or maybe they bought them in 97, I don't remember. This island doesn't fit into the lore. It does not fit for Engine to have this island at this time doing that, okay? Because they had San Diego, and then they bought Nublar in 85. So you couldn't say this was meant to be like a park location they started building there, and then they ended up just putting extra dinosaurs there, Sorna was overflowing or whatever. Because no, it wasn't. Sorna was absolutely gigantic. And it was not overflowing. And they're still putting the same species from the same strains that were... There are dinosaurs here that were hatched on Sorna. Okay? The T-Rex, if they're keeping with the lore, was hatched on Isla Sorna, the one we see here. It should have been. That would make it one of the 7, which means that we now have every T-Rex in canon. Well, all of the original 7. There could still be others. But, it doesn't make sense. Okay, the way they're presenting it doesn't make sense, but there is an easy solution. Well, there's 2 easy solutions. One, they're ignoring the canon for the sake of cool and making a new location. Whatever, that's fine. Well, no, it's not. But you know what? I'll let it slide. It's a rebirth. Just do a new thing and then be consistent from now on with your new canon. Okay? If it's what it takes to put Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, and Fallen Kingdom wasn't that bad, but just that era behind us, I'm okay with that. But you could have made this consistent. Go to Isla Sorna. I know the island looks different from what we've seen of Sorna in the past, but honestly, I would rather them just find this new location and say, no, this is Isla Sorna. It's in a little bit different location than what we saw before, but like, so is Park 3 and The Lost World, and like, what about the mutant? That wasn't there in those movies. Well, there's two easy solutions. One, the better solution, don't have a mutant in the movie, please. Two, just don't. It's okay. We were there for 2 movies, okay? In total, people were on the island for a few days, and only a portion of it. There's huge areas of land they never went to. Just make the island Sorna. It would have been fine. And it would have cleaned up the lore. We could have seen new stuff. A lot of the dinosaurs would have made sense. And you know what? You can add new species to the original engine roster. Some of them don't make sense, like Titanosaurus. It doesn't really make sense. Oh, by the way, I really want to see Brachiosaurus in this movie. I know Titanosaurus is probably our only sauropod, but I would really like to see Brachiosaurus, if only briefly. You know, just... It would have been so much better. Unless, okay, I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself. This would have been a much more concise rant a few days ago, but it is what it is. Unless they go to Isla Sorna. You know, let's say Isla Sorna is... I'm sorry, I will probably cut some of this. My words aren't working. Unless you think this island, it's a lie. This is not the original research facility for Jurassic Park, and Henry Loomis and Sorbin are going to figure that out while they're there. The company is here illegally, and either another company, InGen, created this with, or probably not with Biosyn, but they created this on separate finances after 1997, when they were bought out by Maserati Global, and InGen was operating as a sub-branch of Maserati Global. The question is, where did that money come from? Because we do still see some old technology here, so I think the very latest this stuff could have been built is 99. The infrastructure, at least. And you know, Hammond wasn't throwing around money. They didn't just have this unlimited money. They couldn't just build wherever they wanted. They had, you know, he didn't have billions and billions of dollars to just build wherever he wanted. And Nublar plus Sorna, that is literally billions of dollars. He couldn't just make a third location and give up. He already did that. He already had San Diego, which probably was $100 million itself, or more. Okay? So there's just not money to throw around, unless this is InGen after Hurricane Clarissa, or after the original Jurassic Park. My question is, why did Hammond tell no one about this, aside from apparently the government, before he died? It would have made sense for Maserati to know about this. He goes here, he kills the mutant, please, and then he takes all the other animals and uses them for Jurassic World. That would have been so much easier than going to Sorna and messing up the ecosystem. That was Hammond's real dream. Obviously, he originally wanted... It would have been a better preservation of his legacy if Maserati had left Sorna alone, and then, you know, he can go build Jurassic World too, because it's important, and it wasn't that bad. But it was still ignorant, and Hammond had learned from his mistakes, and I don't think we haven't seen what really went on when he told Maserati to carry on his dream. I don't think he told him, go build another park. He told him, please use my company, save my dream. And Maserati took that as, I'm going to build another Jurassic World, because he didn't really understand what was going on. Hammond went from capitalist to naturalist in 4 years, so he wanted Sorna to be preserved, and I think that's probably what he wanted Maserati to do. I will say Maserati did a great job with Jurassic World. He did a great thing that Hammond failed to do, but it was still the next time, and again, it didn't work. So, I'm a little confused with how this island could be built, but I don't think they want to go into the specifics of the lore like that in the movie, because it takes a whole lot of maneuvering to make this canon consistent, and that's not going to appeal to general audiences. It's a lot easier to say, this is the research facility for the original Jurassic Park, okay, let's go mission movie. And I think at first this will be like a mission movie, but I think, here's my second point, is on the disease. The disease is, quote-unquote, a heart disease. I don't think it's a heart disease. Well, maybe it does affect the heart, but it's not just some disease, that it just so happens that these dinosaurs, which happen to be the biggest dinosaurs, have the gene that fixes this or whatever. And it just so happened that by chance, when InGen was experimenting with this island, that the cure for this disease happen to exist in these animals, and we know about it because we do. Without the genetic samples of the animals, it doesn't really make sense that way. But I think there is something really cool going on that we have theorized about, and a lot of people have abandoned this theory because of what the trailer says, but I think it works even better now if you look really close. That's right, I am still on the DX boat. We have the... I will tell you all of my evidence. We have this scene that we've seen set photos of, where there's a dinosaur apparently in the streets of New York that has died, and people in hazmat suits are spraying it off, and we also have some shots of those hazmat suits, and they are government, they're working for like the Department of Animal and Dinosaur Welfare or whatever, and if an animal like that died, and it wasn't contagious in some way, why would they be doing that? It doesn't really make sense. And the big argument against the DX case is that why would the dinosaurs not have spread the disease before if this was something that they already had? You know, maybe you could say there's some generational delay, but that's a little bit lazy writing. But I'll get to why I think it is. But they could just say it's like it takes several generations for the gene to kick in. It's a byproduct of maybe the lysine contingency or whatever. I don't know. The lysine contingency still doesn't really make sense because all animals get lysine from their food, don't they? Anyways, yeah. And then we have the dinosaurs on this island, and this is the only reason why I think they could be separate from the Sorna animals, is because these early dinosaurs that were mutated did have the prion disease DX. And in this, we obviously see they're grown to adult animals. There's seemingly a mostly stable ecosystem here, aside from the 50-foot tall mutant. But we have, you know, these dinosaurs were kept separate because they were sick. And that is the secret that's been hidden for decades. It's not the mutant. The mutant is just there to be a movie monster, I think. Which is why it shouldn't be in the movie. But, you know, the, I'm sorry for the lazy editing in this video, by the way, like, minimal editing. This video exists for those of you who are interested in my opinion in this video to hear what I have to say. Not for getting a bunch of views. Like, I'm done with the YouTube channel pretty much, so why would I even bother? Then, okay, after, the words aren't wording, I keep losing track of thought. So, anyway, Injun starts making the animals, and they have this disease that is seemingly not spreadable to humans. However, they're worried they could be, so they contain them on this separate island. Why not use one of the other 5 deaths? Because Gareth Edwards wanted to film in Thailand, and it doesn't look like it's one of the 5 deaths, that's why. So, anyways, they go out of the way and they buy another island and they build there and they put the dinosaurs on the island. Maybe people go back later. Maybe the pharma company is InGen in some form because Masrani Global basically sold all their assets. So, InGen could have been bought again, and thus the rights to the dinosaurs, and thus the genetic code, and thus the information about these animals could have been bought out by either Biosyn or Masrani Global. And the government seems to know about this island, but I don't think they've known about it since the 90s, or we would have heard about it before. So what I'm thinking is, what if Biosyn bought Masrani Global after Fallen Kingdom? Because, why wouldn't they? Maybe they didn't buy Masrani Energy and Masrani Telecom, because those are still big companies, but like, Masrani Genetic Engineering. Okay? And thus they also buy InGen. And then when Biosyn fails, the government and the United Nations basically will then have access to all of InGen's files, and they would know about the DX disease in this island. Why would they not just bomb it so the movie can happen? I don't really know why. Now that I think about it, that doesn't really make sense. But let's say the government knows about this, and they've been patrolling the island anyway. They think it's dangerous enough to keep people away, so like they didn't even have that kind of security around Sorna. You could just fly in. You could take a boat in, as we've seen. So maybe this island, they know that there's dinosaurs there, and they might have a disease that could potentially become spreadable to humans. And at some point, the disease has gotten off of this island, and maybe that's another reason why they quit the government patrols, not just because people wouldn't go there, but because, why bother, because the disease has already been spread, and it's not being told that it's DX originating. Maybe they'll call it something different. That's what I was thinking when we got the rumors of the D-Rex, which is its supposed name of the mutant, which I kind of hope it's not because it sounds silly, is that it was kind of a code name, which sometimes they will do stuff like that in the movie industry, where they will release, when they talk about stuff to people, they will use different names, and it was the D-Rex, and it was actually just the DX. and it wasn't actually a mutant, and I was really hoping that would happen, and it's not. But I do still think that there is more going on with the plot, and it's not just going to be, oh wait, the pharma people are actually bad. You know, they've said there's more going on here. I don't remember who it was that said that. It was either Gareth Edwards or David Cope, I think. But, and Frank Marshall's on this too, I'm pretty sure. And Spielberg, of course. But, yeah. You know, we hear about the disease. It's still out there, and it's spread to humans, and it has now become actually deadly to humans. Or maybe it spread. Maybe it wasn't all the animals, and then we still have to explain the island somehow. Otherwise, but it only mutated to be dangerous more recently. Maybe that's why they're cleaning off the dinosaur in the park. Maybe it hasn't spread all the way, or it's still kind of a secret. But we have this pandemic going on, or soon will occur, and it's a little bit of a secret, or maybe it's global. And then the reason you can get it from these dinosaurs, why it happens to be the three biggest, I think it could just be that's chance. Or there could be something specific in some gene that they added to make them be able to survive being so gigantic or whatever. Maybe it's some digestion thing. I don't know. We'll see why. Yeah, we got it would make sense to, then it would actually make sense that, one, this company, which is maybe Engine, would know about it. And that would also explain the modernized Engine logo if it's the vehicle they brought, which we didn't see it on the boat before, but maybe it's there. It would be very Lost World and very cool. So, it's still a possibility. And I really hope so, because it would make this a lot more interesting than just this mission movie, and then the family gets involved, and then they fight the mutant, and then they get away. Because it's different from what they said they were trying to do. Obviously, we are going back to an island, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank you to the writers and the directors for doing that. But we still don't really... It's not really what we were hoping for if they don't go down this route of the secondary hidden plotline that I really hope they will do with the DX. And I've been talking about this for quite a while, so I feel like I definitely have more to say on this and more that I talked about before, but I don't really remember what it is. I'll be interested to see the other dinosaur designs, and... even though I have a lot to be apprehensive about, and one thing to be absolutely not happy with, I'm still really excited for this movie, and I cannot wait for it to be released. Cannot wait to see more trailers, more news. I think it'll be, honestly, a little bit light on news for the next while, at least until we get a second trailer. Maybe we'll get some more interviews, but probably not that much information will be revealed. Maybe we'll get some short clips on the official Jurassic World YouTube channel. But, all the big channels will keep you guys updated. I won't be, but I will talk about it in posts on the community tab if we get new stuff. Very excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. Honestly, I don't think I remember being this excited for a Jurassic movie ever. And for, almost no media projects, very few times have I felt this excited for a movie or a show. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about Jurassic World Rebirth. Overall, I'm positive. It was really nice to see some actual clips, and the 2.5 minute trailer surprised me. So, yeah, I'm 150 something videos, and I still don't know how to do an outro. Thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a comment down below if you have anything to say, and stay tuned for my next and final video that will be coming out very soon. Hi, this is editing me. I just forgot to mention that I'm really excited for the Jurassic World Evolution 3 content now, and Frontier, you can't not give us the river tour now, because we're literally going to have the river scene in the movie, and yeah, this makes me way more hyped for Evolution 3, and also we just had some pictures for the LEGO sets revealed, which I'm very excited for, and yeah, there's just a lot of accompanying material to get excited for, and there's tons of things I forgot to talk about in this recording, so I'd be happy to discuss with you guys in the comments, and thank you again for watching the video. If you're still here somehow after an hour and 19 minutes.